Hey guys, and welcome back to the English shooting live stream. For anyone new, welcome. Thanks for joining. This is your chance to bring up any topics or questions you may have on anything shooting or otherwise. If you've been watching the videos here on the channel, then you can ask anything about those or any questions that might have popped into your head. Just a word of warning, been chatting with a few people, mainly the Mochaccino or Outdoor Technica or Arius or Arian. He goes by a lot of names, and I know a lot of you have said about the quality of the video, so I've upped the bit rate or the stream rate or whatever. I mean, it's not like I've got a degree in electronic engineering or anything, but technology scares the shit out of me. So let me know if it's crisper. Let me know how I look and how I sound throughout the night. Any issues, I'll try and sort them out as we go, but hopefully it looks pretty stable. Fingers crossed, touch wood. But we shall get on with it. So yeah, please feel free to use the chat section to put any comments or topics you want to chat about. Don't forget as well, hit that like button. It does make a real big difference. You know that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like scary looking things like firearms, even though firearms owners and users are, of course, some of the most safe and law-abiding citizens across the world. But yeah, give it a big like just to say fuck you to the YouTube algorithm. Consider subscribing, consider sharing. But yeah, we've got a few topics for tonight. Some news for English shooting itself, a little bit of an update, some massive news for Magload. I do like to do my Magload plug segment. It's what helps pay the bills, so it's sort of obligatory at this point. And of course the main topic for this evening, which we will get right into, is the difference between shooting between the US and the UK. So you might be coming at this as an American viewer or subscriber and obviously very well versed in what things are like in the US, or you might be the other way around, a UK shooter, very much versed in how UK shooting goes, and just thought, after having done a fair amount of shooting out in the US and obviously in the UK and abroad in other countries as well, I thought I'd give a little bit of comparison. And basically the long or the short of it, if you're a British shooter, go to America and shoot. It's how it's meant to be done. It's incredibly fun. So something that I'll just get straight out there. It always surprises me in a good way, most of the time, is how relaxed it is out in the US. In the UK, because of our laws, because of the various hoops and requirements to shoot, and everything you've got to sign off and do before you can get down a range and actually enjoy the sport. In America, they don't have any of that. They of course have the right to bear arms, and any American is allowed to have a firearm, which makes firearms a lot more accessible. And also there are far less laws about international visitors shooting. So I think the main and obviously the most obvious one is that as a visitor you won't be allowed to purchase a gun, or you won't be able to transport or be in possession of a gun alone. The definition of possessing a gun alone, though, again, is quite relaxed from my experience in the States. Pretty much as long as the gun owner is somewhere on the range, and I mean somewhere, there's no sort of line of sight requirements, as long as they are within walking distance, let's just say, then you're free to do what you want. I've been to trips such as American shooting trips where you pretty much get assigned a handgun at the beginning of the week. You have to hand it in every single evening. You're not allowed to go back to the hotel with it. But every morning you turn up, you select your gun, you put it in your holster, and away you go. There's no one chaperoning you. No one sort of eagle eyes on you at all times. Of course, there are instructors and range crew on the range. If they see you doing something stupid with it, that's something that's common between the US and the UK. If you're doing something irresponsible or silly with the gun, then you'll be asked to leave or to stop doing it. But otherwise, they treat you like an adult. They treat you like a law-abiding citizen until proven otherwise, and you're allowed to get on with it. There's the other type, which I think a lot more people are going to experience with visits, holidays out to the US, which is the private range or the commercial ranges that you can go there and pay a range fee. And I've actually got a little bit of footage to sort of show you guys. Again, using the higher frame rate. How's that looking, by the way? I hope it's worth it. Using the high sort of bit rate on the stream, I don't know how it's going to like me streaming a YouTube video as well, but we'll give it a go. I can soon stop it if it seems to cause difficulties. So this was, I'm going to get the video up. This was actually my first experience. I can't find the video now. Where is it? I was so prepared before. Here we go. So this was my first time shooting handguns ever. I'm not going to include UK handguns, but non-rodded, non-long-barreled handguns. This was the first time, and you were greeted by this massive shop. This is another thing as well. Gun shops are a lot more accessible, a lot more... there's a lot more of them in the US, and obviously at a range you're going to have a gun shop. And I think I give a little bit of a tour here. As you can see, like, this would be considered a fairly large gun shop in the UK, and it's pretty standard. I would say, in actual fact, probably a little bit small compared to the other gun shops, like, you know, the Bass Pros. They're basically the Walmart of the shooting world out there. So a little tour of the gun range, and basically you have this counter here, and seriously, I phoned them up. I was in disbelief when I when I got on the phone with them, because I wanted to check, like, look, can I, as a Brit, come over here and shoot? Is there any rules? Is there any, like, laws that, you know, prohibit me from doing it? And it was like, nope, come up, you pay, I think it was like a £10 range fee for the, or $10 range fee, and then another $20 on top of that for the rental. And you can see these fairly pixelated guns. Well, every single one of those guns, they had a whole variety of them. You paid your $20, you got to use every single one of them. You were given a bucket, you could put your ammunition in it and your gun in it, and you went off to the range. The range is over here, this door over here. So they would put the gun in the bucket, you take it out to the range, and we got a little bit of a closer view of the guns there. I think there's the Smith & Wesson 500 that was available to rent. There was a 458 Casull, which I think I shot on this visit. Oh no, that's the 500, I think. I think that's the 458. And then you can see just a mountain of Glocks, 1911s, 2011s, Smith & Wessons, all sorts. But you were allowed to go out there on your own. You can see this range here, just loads, just an abundance of targets. You can see there's the bucket. This is me on the range, and there was no one there. I had the whole place to myself. I could set up my camera, absolutely no issue filming whatsoever. And you could spend, you could put 1,000 rounds through one of the guns if you wanted. Oh, so much slimmer there. Or you could put 10 rounds through a gun, return it, get another one. So I managed to shoot like 10 different guns on an evening doing this. But this is something that I think most people out in going for a trip or a visit in the States, this is what you're going to experience. There will be, yes, my cheesy tagline. So you can see the variety of guns there. I won't go through them all, but you can see I just plinking away. And yes, I've learnt a lot from that point. I was teacupping quite a bit. So yeah, so that's, I think, what you're going to experience. There will be instructors available. You know, if you've never fired a gun, tell them. Don't try and be Mr. Big I, you know, Mr. Big I Am. You know, be honest with them. Say, look, I've never shot a handgun. You know, perhaps you've never shot a gun ever. Someone will come out and give you a hand. Again, that's what they said. And I was like, look, I've shot long barrel pistols and muzzle loading revolvers back in the UK. So I know my way around a handgun, and I'll let you know if I have any issues. So yeah, it's just the freedom. I know that's maybe a bit of a cliche with America versus the UK, but it's the freedom out there. They treat you like an adult. You're not tethered to someone, and you can just go and have a lot of fun. It is a bit of a culture shock as well, that sort of freedom, that, you know, get on with it and sort of mind your own business approach, because to be honest, there isn't the minimum requirements of joining a club or getting your firearm certificate. In the UK, when you rock up to a range, you know that everyone that has sort of free access to a club gun is going to be a full member. Any probationers are going to be supervised by an instructor or a more senior member of the club. So one thing that can be a little bit off-putting is the more, let's say, like, sort of gun-ho attitude. Again, you know, got to get that pun in there, of you don't know what experience, what knowledge level the person next to you have, but a lot of these sort of public ranges, again, will have instructors on site. If they see somebody that's obviously just not up to scratch, you'll be able to, they'll be able to pick that out, put them aside, maybe give them a few tips and tricks. The thing that made me laugh specifically with this range I just showed, when I went and shot I think is it the 484, or is it the 464? I don't know. Anyway, it's the 4 something Casual. It was the largest caliber they had in stock. I wanted to shoot the 500 Smith & Wesson, but they were out of ammunition, and that was the next one up. And obviously, it's a beastly handgun, easily the most powerful handgun that I had ever shot at that point. And when I booked it out of that little counter, they said, just let the instructor out there know, let the range officer out there know what you've got and what you're about to shoot and your experience level. So it's like, oh, okay, right, they're gonna have to, give me the hug from behind and guide me like something like a scene out of Ghost. And I went up to the RO and I was like, oh, I've been told that I'm about to shoot this and I haven't shot something this powerful before. Is there anything you need to do? And he sort of looked at the bucket and he was like, cool, off you go. And it was just like, okay, so and I think there's a lot of people that may not have maybe the same level of skill or experience, that might be a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, again, just be honest. If you feel like you need help, if you feel like you are struggling with anything, go and ask one of the range staff. They are going to help you. And I think that's another big difference. I'm sure there are many club thuds out in the States as there are in the UK. But one of the things that irks me a lot with a lot of people getting into shooting within the UK is this seemingly common unfriendly environment. A lot of new shooters seem to feel that gun clubs in the UK are very much old boys clubs, and they can be a little bit hostile, a little bit cold to begin with until you're in the clique. You just don't. I've never experienced that in America. Everyone is there to help you, from the range staff, from the the RO, from the general members of the public that are there doing their weekly or monthly training or general plinking. So it's very much more welcoming, and as soon as they hear you've got a British accent, you will be swamped. And especially again at this range, I had people left, right and centre offering me guns. And it was just absolutely incredible. You get that in the UK, in clubs like Kentucky Firearms clubs, under the club exemption, where you're allowed to share the majority of guns, just not Section 1 shotguns or long barrel pistols. It's a very friendly environment. You'll get to still shoot many other different guns, and people will happily offer you. But again, America turns that up to 11, and people will do extraordinary things. Another sort of third alley that you can go down in terms of trying to shoot out in the US is hitting up a local club. So I was out in Roswell for a work trip. There were no local ranges that I knew of or I could find on Google. I mean, like commercial ranges that you can just go and pay and play like that. So I just found the local shooting club and dropped them a message. The chairman of the club and his son took the day off of work to take me shooting. And I said to them, look, right, I don't want to cause you any hassle. Like, look, if you're busy, just tell me. I was just on the off chance there was an open day or whether, club members were shooting there. So we ended up meeting up in Walmart. And on that note, actually, I've got it here. This is actually the receipt. It's a little bit faded now, but this is the receipt from that Walmart. And I think, has it got Roswell? Yeah, you can probably just about make out Roswell on there. So I went into Walmart, and again, something that completely baffled me as a Brit. Within the UK, our ammunition is restricted. In America, it's not. So even as a visitor or an illegal legal alien, whatever you want to look at it, I was able to go and buy ammunition. I'll see if I can make it out. Just ammo, no caliber, some Win 45, some Federal, and more ammo. So yeah, very, very specific. But I ended up buying $130 worth of ammunition. I'll put that back later. And just they opened up the club. Again, no other members of this club was there. They opened everything up, and they just had this plethora of guns on the table for me to shoot. I'll actually, again, I should have got this up ready, again prepared as always. Let's see if I can get a photo. It was like they literally just emptied their safes and put it all on a table for me. So incredibly welcoming, incredibly opening, and where the laws are a lot more lax with firearms, you can, I wouldn't say necessarily get away with more, it's just a lot easier to go and experience more. Of course, as a Brit, you can go out there and shoot machine guns, which again is sort of a funny thing to be able to do for you know, in England. It never really happens for UK shooters. So I've got a few of the pictures. There was one of all of them, but this was like literally one table of guns. Come on, focus. So that was just some of their collection of handguns. I did have a lot more photos, but it seems to have gone. That's the, is it the 458? And I'm probably butchering. It's probably on the barrel. That says a 460 Smith & Wesson, but it wasn't. It was definitely I think it was a Casull. But that was the big one that I was telling you about. Absolutely monstrous. Although I later, then a few years down the line, managed to shoot a Smith & Wesson 500, which was definitely the one on the bucket list. I was positive there was more photos of their collection. They got a load of rifles out for me, and it was just brilliant. So that's something as a Brit I would highly recommend. Don't be scared. Reach out to people, and obviously with the channel being out there and you know, having American viewers and subscribers, I get a lot of unsolicited offers as well. Like, look, if you're ever in this state, if you're ever in this area, drop by. I'll take you down to the local range. So very generous, very, very friendly, and very easy to get into shooting. In terms of the differences with the UK, of course, as a visitor, you can still go and shoot. You probably have to coincide it with one of the 12 club open days. So within the UK, Home Office approved clubs are allowed 12 open days a year. They have to be sort of pre-arranged or pre-notified to the Home Office that they're going to go ahead, and then you can go up there and shoot under the club under that open day. Otherwise, if you're an American visiting the UK, then you're probably going to be consigned to more clay pigeon shooting. Clay pigeon shooting is one of those that you can, like, anyone can do as long as the ground has the, I think it's like the 7.4 exemption, which allows people to be able to use guns that they don't have a certificate for. So I would probably say the majority of visitors from the States are probably coming over to the UK to shoot, to do pheasant shooting, to do game shooting, rather than other disciplines. Because again, as an American, why would you fly over to the UK to visit a UK range? You've got far more stuff over where you live than we do over here. Although, funnily enough, again on a work trip, I was out in Salt Lake City in Utah. Went into a local range, and again, as soon as they hear the accent, it's always a bit, oh, you're British, like, you know, why are you in a gun shop? And you know, explain, well, I shoot back at home. And the guy just looked up and said, oh, you ever been to Bisley? I was like, yeah, that's where I regularly shoot. And the guy actually flew every year for the Queens, so he knew Bisley really, really well, and was quite a top level target shooter. So yeah, incredibly friendly. They always want to spark up conversations. I've you know, sparked up in the middle of trials of our kit while we've been out there. The customers start talking about guns, and obviously I join in with all of that. So yeah, it can be a stark difference. It can be a bit of a culture shock going out there. I would highly recommend, if you specifically want to go out to the US to shoot guns and you want to make a full trip of it, then obviously get in contact with American Shooting Trips. That's what they specialize in. They've done that for a number of years. Very, very good at it, and it removes a lot of the stress, a lot of the anxiety. They know that, you know, you don't have to have an FAC to go on it. If you don't have an FAC, you probably will need to chat to David or the team, just to make sure that A, you're not a nutter, and B, that you are a little bit sensible. You can't be just let loose with guns out there if they don't know, unless they know that you're going to be sensible with them. But you will have, let's say, a beginner's class there. Obviously, the regulars, people have been out there before, from the beginning, that you, from the moment you land on the range, it's pretty much, look, you can either get your eye in here or go off straight away. But if you are a newbie, if you are your first time on the trip and they just want to check that you're going to be okay with a 9mm handgun, then there'll be a little session where they have like a one-on-one with, again, more experienced people, bringing you up to speed. So they really do, you know, you can be a complete noob the whole week, and have someone hold your hand the whole way, but as soon as they feel comfortable with your ability and you feel comfortable with your ability, then you'll be able to go off and shoot as you will. All of the guns are supplied. They have hundreds of guns out there. You can take your pick. Loads of rifles as well, so not just the handguns, they have loads of rifles and shotguns. If you've watched the previous American Shooting Trips vlogs that I've done while going out there, you will know how many guns and how much. Let's see if I can adjust a few things. You there? Okay. I think that's the I think that's my computer very much saying stop overworking me with the frame rates. So probably no more YouTube streaming. There we go. I froze, and by the looks of things, not at the best face. So yeah, we're talking American Shooting Trips. There's 10 places left. We're going to do this huge tour. You can go out there for just the 1 week shooting trip. You can go there for the full. You can do your own full tour. A lot of people end up combining it with, say, a family holiday and then do the shooting trip afterwards. But yeah, it's an incredible experience. You will do more shooting in that week than you think is feasibly possible. And again, locals will turn up. We've had it over at Utah. This one's going to be in Kentucky, but over in Utah, we had locals turn up with machine guns, and they were like, "Give me $10, supply your own ammunition, and you can run a mag through my, full auto M16 or a grease gun or all sorts." I mean, Cobalt Kinetics as well, fantastic brand. Again, all about helping shooters and again, sharing what they're able to do. So they're a class 3 dealer. They have full autos, and they just turned up with a bucket full of ammunition, and we're like, yeah, we can write this off as an expense. So fill your boots. We must have put hundreds of rounds through, hundreds of rounds through their guns. They had that stubby full auto, which was incredibly hard to control, and a full AR-15 full auto. So yeah, they just turned up and they were like, yeah, have at it. It's just an incredible experience. So yeah, if you're big into your shooting and you're in the UK, you've got to put America on your visiting list. It's just got to be done. It is sort of the gun mecca, as it were, and I wouldn't necessarily just focus on Texas. A lot of people think, oh, it's Texas or nothing. No, Utah again is a hugely gun-loving state. Florida as well, hugely gun-loving. So you don't just have to go to, say, the generic big ones. You can go to the likes of Nevada and Las Vegas. I would be very cautious of the Las Vegas ranges. They are very, very commercial. They're very much set on the tourist route, and you can go and spend thousands of dollars quite easily and not actually get that much shooting. That's why a trip like American Shooting Trips, it's £1,000 for the week. All your ammunition, gun hire, range fees, and all that is included. And a lot of people say that it should be a good £1,500 to £2,000 the package that you actually get. And then you add on, again, I've got this specifically for American Shooting Trips, prize tables. So this was a couple of years ago, again in Utah. We had this big match, and then you get to do the prize table at the end of it. Some people ended up going home. You can see this is all free swag, right? They've got little bundles of stuff. So you can see here, yep, that's a Vortex scope in a bundle. So some people ended up walking away from this match with more swag than what the trip actually cost you. I think here, this was the one that everyone rushed to, was like a £2,000 set of binoculars, and you walked away with it. But you can see those Vortex boxes. I ended up walking away with, I don't think I've got it to hand actually, but walking away with a pair of Vortex binoculars. I think that might be actually the pack that I went for. T-shirts, hats, and all that. So you can end up getting a huge amount of value just in the prize tables. And David has confirmed that both Vortex and Remington are going to be sponsoring the prize table for the Kentucky trip. So again, there's going to be scopes, binoculars, range finders. Well, with Remington, there's probably going to be a few guns. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But yeah, highly recommend it. Go and have a look at American Shooting Trips to go and check that out. They're on Facebook, or you can go on their website. I'll try and American shooting trips, try and bring it up for you guys. So it's AmericanShootingTrips.com. Of course, we do have a partnership. It's the same guys that do Caliber Innovations and Kentucky Firearms Club. So this is the website you're looking for, AmericanShootingTrips.com. And yeah, you can go in and book on there or get in contact. Let's have a look at the guns. Let's see what photos they've got. I hope your website's up to date, David. So I think this is actually the Kentucky range, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, so just a little bit of full auto there. So it's a fantastic trip. That's why I keep going on there. This time Connors is coming. We're trying to get Paul to come. Daniel, or Daniela as she would like to be referred as now, is coming. Aris is coming. Everyone's coming. It's brilliant. Yeah, not like that. So anyway, yeah, that's really I would say my comparison between the US and the UK, and the various ways that you can go and try it out there. Of course, if you want to try something, you know, a little less American, there are loads of places in Europe. Of course, we've been out to the Netherlands, we've been out to Prague to shoot. All of those, again, had an amazing time, super helpful. But America is just, you know, it's known as like the gun central, the gun mecca for a reason. Oh, Hal, thanks for joining, Hal. Looking forward to your trip. Well, yes, again, if you want to talk about hospitality, I think I talked about this a few weeks ago on the stream. So Callaway Ballistics are going to be, well, they've invited us, so they're based in Birmingham, Alabama, and Hal has very generously invited us down there, and he's like, look, we're sort out a range, we're an ammunition manufacturer, so don't worry about the ammo. Anything you want to get your hands on, let me know. We'll try and get it in. We can try and get as much as you want, and he's going to send us on our way with some ammo for the rest of the trip. So again, that's just, you know, the sort of hospitality you will get going out in the States. They really, that was the other thing about the Roswell shooting trip. We spent the whole day, shot all this ammunition, shot all their guns. We went to lunch, and I was like, "Well, I'll pick up lunch, obviously. Like, it's the least I can do." And they refused. They absolutely refused for me to pay lunch. And I was like, "You've both taken days off work. You've both supplied all these guns, given up your time. Let me use your collection, and you won't even let won't even let me buy you lunch." And they're like, "Look, you're a guest in our town. It's our responsibility to take care of you." So, yeah, you want to feel welcome. You want to have the absolutely amazing top level trip. Then you've got to go to America. Absolutely, you've got to go to America. So anyway, I've seen the chat has been busy. Let's have a look. I've seen Rack and Load. Rack and Load's joined us. Thanks for joining, Neil. Are you coming this year? Are you joining us on the Kentucky trip this year? It would be good to have Mr. Rack and Load out there, that's for sure. And I leave you guys for 2 minutes and it's all turned to shit. What else is new? So let's start from the top. There was a couple of questions before we started. Would you consider moving to the US? So I guess on the topic of US versus UK, of course, there's no question if you want to be a professional shooter, if you want to be in the shooting industry, America again is the obvious choice. Of course, you have they of course have issues in terms of like Biden. There's talks at the moment in terms of new laws, new restrictions. I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute. But they've got the Second Amendment. There's always going to be a gun industry out there. Like there seriously is a risk in the UK that it ends up getting legislated into nothing. In the US, that's just never going to happen. There will always be some sort of firearms industry. So of course, for somebody that guns are your main interest, living out in the US would be a dream come true. And in a way, it would be a dream come true for me. But the way I've explained it many times before, there is actually a video on the channel going into this exact topic, which is, whilst over the years my life becomes more and more focused on shooting, and obviously giving up my full-time job about 3 years ago to work on various projects within the firearms industry, yes, it would make sense to go out there, but there are other aspects to your life. I mean, you've got relationships, you've got friends, family. It is a massive thing to uproot and move somewhere else. You know, I've just recently got engaged. We're actually just going through the processes of buying our first house at the moment, and it won't be long until there are little Callums running around, which I know is probably not the best thing in the world. They will be shooters. Boy or girl, they will be shooters. So yeah, there's more in life than just the shooting aspect. What I can definitely see, and what I've said before, is my goal, my dream is to have at least a holiday over there and get like sort of resident status, which would allow me to grow a collection out in the States. And of course with Magload, the obvious move and sort of step up for Magload is to have a bigger presence within the States and to sort of break that market more. And I could hope, well, if all going to plan, we may get to the point where we need a US HQ out there with, you know, maybe distribution or manufacturing out there, who knows. And again, that would facilitate regular trips. You know, I want to get to the point in my life where going once a month is feasible. I think I was talking to I think my mum the other night and said that's one of my goals, is to get to the point where having a long weekend out in the States is you know, I don't have to think about it, be that for work, be that for personal shooting, you know, going there for matches. I would just love to just travel regularly out there or across the world to go shooting. It takes a lot of money, but again, that's a goal, that's something that I want to get to. And if the businesses such as Magload can help facilitate that, then that's sort of all part of the plan. So yes, I would say consider, but there are a lot of other things that I would have to consider as well, and a lot of people's permissions I would have to get to ever make that sort of move. And being honest, I don't think a full-time move out to the States is ever going to happen, but regular visits, holiday home, you know, business HQ out there. I mean, let's look at Lantac. I know that's like we did that a lot last week, but I think that's a lot of people's aspirations. Is, look, they started a UK based company, it became fairly successful, and they branched out to the US and are doing very well in the US. So, you know, that's a lot of thing that a lot of people would be envious or jealous of. Well, I just see that as a goal. That's like, yeah, I like the idea of that. I'll aim for that myself. Any update on the firearm safety bill progress? No, nothing at all. There was that little thing from what was it, Kit, the guy behind all of the he's doing that for the Home Office. I don't know his particular role, it's some made up stand sort of thing, but yeah, they came out and said that they'd only had 12,000 responses for it, which was absolutely pitiful. I think we did a whole live stream sort of focusing on that in terms of shooting ourselves in the foot. Yet again, we had the opportunity to have our say, to be heard, and only 12,000 people in total. That's not just 12,000 shooters, that's 12,000 people in total responded. So yeah, no updates yet as far as I'm aware, but of course, as soon as there is, we will of course cover it on the channel. One big difference is the price difference before. Talking about the States, it is incredibly cheap to shoot in the States. Well, not at the moment. Ammunition is ridiculously more than what it is in the UK. But normally, any given day, it is incredibly cheap to shoot out of there. To shoot there, the guns are ridiculously cheap as well. Smith & Wesson 1522, of course, one of the best guns ever made, is £600 here. Over there, you can pick them up in a shop for $250, $300. You know, when you do the conversion on that, that puts them at about a third of the price that they are in pounds. I say to people a lot of the time, if you see a gun in the States, basically double the price, double the price and add 50% and put a pound price in front of it, a pound sign, and that's what you'll be paying in the UK. It is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, we do have that right as well. So we're talking about the Bill of Rights versus the Second Amendment. It's just not. There's so many people that say, "Oh, we've got the Bill of Rights. We have the right to bear arms." Okay, go and buy yourself a handgun. go do it. Like, there's so many people that are devout on this. We have the UK Bill of Rights. We have the right to bear arms. Go and buy a gun then. Like, do it. Like everyone emails me about it. Like, I'm gonna be the idiot that goes out and tests it. I can sort of see where you're coming from with that, but it's like all of these, I think, great optimists that, as I say, we've got the right to bear arms. At one point, we most definitely did. Within the UK Bill of Rights, there was, or the English Bill of Rights, there was the right to bear arms in it. It's been more or less superseded, or I think in technical legal terms, it's been ring-fenced. So you may have the Bill of Rights, or you may have the right to bear arms, but how do you purchase a firearm? How do you transport a firearm? How do you then use a firearm legally? And that's, I think, what they've ended up doing with that right, is they've fenced it in with loads of other laws, which makes it practically or illegal to go out and do. So yes, if anyone out there is absolutely adamant that we have the right to bear arms, please go and buy a pistol. Walk down your local police station and go, I'm carrying this under the right to bear arms, and see how long you end up free, because you're going to be in prison very quickly. It's just one of those things that I think, like, let's let it go. Of course, if someone wants to mount a legal challenge on it, if someone wants to challenge it in court, let's go for it. Let's see where it goes. I'm not going to be the idiot that that tries that in court. That is the case study for that one. If somebody else who believes in it a lot more wants to do it, please do so. I've also had people contact me from, what was it? It's the Freeman Society. There's this theory that we like your birth name is actually your legal entity, and you as the person is not the, you know, basically you sign away your rights or your being to this name, and it all comes down to like maritime law and stuff, and I've had people contact me quite a bit about it, and talk about it and go, look, you can own guns under the free man, you know, they can't arrest you, the individual, they can only arrest your name. And we ended up talking to someone that was like, yeah, I've bought dozens of guns and they've challenged me, and everything within the court records was he got fucked. Right, he got put in prison. He got done. There's actually, talking about it, there's a wiki page about it, and let's go. It's the Freeman Society, I think. Freeman on Land. Is this it? Is this the UK one? I think this might be the US. Again, different laws. Let's go England and Wales. Here we go. So this is sort of the funny thing. This is basically how it's going to end up if you want to use the English Bill of Rights to possess a firearm. This is what this is what you're going to see. So as of 2011, there were no recorded instances of freeman tactics being upheld in court of the law in the UK. So it's all of these, like, look, they've got done for very, you know, fairly minor crimes in you know, compared to what it could have potentially done, and they all got prosecuted, right? They've all got they do it, what is it, obstruction to justice, or what is it, they're charged with a very particular law, and I can't remember what it is, but they all get done under it. No one's been successful in it. So, you know, when you see the facts, of, like, oh, contempt of court, that's it. I mean, that's a pretty big one, pretty common one. Catch up, Callum. But yeah, contempt of court. If you come out with something about the free man and you're a free man and they can't arrest you and all that, they're just do you for contempt of court. And if you're in there because you're a free man and you're using the English Bill of Rights to purchase or to possess a firearm, you're going to end up in the same prison. Like, that's just how it's going to happen. And I think more basically the way I look at it is the law is, yes, you're judged by your peers, right? And that is in that's sort of the only caveat to this, is that if you can convince a jury that you're not guilty, then you'll be found not guilty. A jury has the ability to almost overlook the law. you know, and again, there's this thing about the spirit of the law where the jury may go like, right, what you've done is illegal, but actually as an average person, I don't think you've done anything wrong. I don't think the law was there to punish people like you in this instance, so we're going to find you no guilty. A jury has the power to do that. With a judge, when it comes to sentencing, when it comes to, you know, sort of laying out the law in that sense, certainly within a magistrate's, what they say goes. So regardless sort of what the law says, of what the law is, the judge can take their interpretation of that and do it, you know, and implement it as they see fit. So whether or not there is or isn't the Bill of Rights still in the UK, if the judges and the wider public don't accept it, you're never going to be able to use that in court as an excuse. It's just never going to work. And I know there's loads of people that will most likely email me and message me. Look, I'm happy to talk about every angle about this and explore every avenue, but every time it comes up, it's just, it leads to a dead end, or it leads to a point where somebody has to be that brave soul to test this theory, to try and buy a gun under the Bill of Rights and carry a gun under the Bill of Rights. And surprisingly, no one's ever brave enough to do it. So it's just, it gets a bit wearing where it's like, okay, if you really believe this, go and do it. Well, no, I just thought it's something you might want to do. No, I don't like prison. So yeah, anyway, moving away from that. Let's anything else? Oh, Hell sent some new pics. Let's have a look. I did see the email come through. Let's get that up on stream. Bring that over. So Hell has sent some pictures. So again, I was talking about Callaway ballistics, and this is what we have to look forward to. So like live reporting here. It's brilliant. Anyone want to show any pictures on the stream, just email EnglishShooting@gmail.com. Please no dick pics. I get enough of those as it is. So let's have a look. So Callaway ballistics. This is what we have in store. I believe that's 300 blackout. Might be showing my ignorance in that. I think that's 300 blackout. No, don't highlight it. There we go. Look at them bullets. I mean, to be fair, what a time to be in ammunition manufacturing in the US at the moment. Look at those bullets. Oh, you can't see the bottom one. Are they primers? Or are they 9mm? I think they're bullets as well. You can just about see a tub there. There's two of them, but I can't. Or can I make it smaller? That's going to scroll. There we go. Is that primers or bullet heads? I can't zoom in. I think they're heads. So yeah, that's what we have to look store at Callaway when we go over to Alabama on our trip in the US. So thanks, Hal, for sending that over. So yeah, a bit of a detour there on the Bill of Rights. RV Long Collins, I can see it already. Oh dear. Yeah, any questions? Sorry if I sorry if I've missed any questions. Callum making it big time, being mentioned on the Field Sports channel. When? This is news to me. Oh Jesus Christ. Let me know, like, is that like a historical one? I know I was on there a couple of years ago. I think that was around what was it? Why did they get in contact with me? I can't remember now. I had like a 30-second piece on Field Sports Britain, my claim to fame. Yeah, let me know. Is that tonight? I don't know. Anyway, what are you guys talking about? Callaway Ballistics wants to sponsor one of our match stages. Always, David's just on it, isn't he? Oh, I forgot. I've got put some special beer aside for this evening. This evening I have Wheatwood Ale, Southern Cross, New World Pale Ale. It's only 3.6%. I do have a nice 5.2 afterwards, but I'll start lightly. I don't want to be getting loose-lipped on the stream. So my fiance actually bought this, I believe, for Valentine's. Bought me a nice crate of different craft beers. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to enjoy that one. Anyway, what you guys drinking? I know some of you like to have a little bit of a whiskey on the gun bench while you watch these streams. So let me know what you're drinking tonight. Ash Range near Bisley is for sale if anyone has 1.3 million. Housing developers, definitely going to happen. 1.3 million. I mean, that's a lot of OnlyFans, right? That's a lot of OnlyFans subscription, but we could get there. So I did see one of our, if you're new to the stream, if you're just joining us again, thanks. And everyone, hit the like button. We've got over 100 people watching, thanks. And 41 likes, come on. Like, hit the like button. If you're watching, you must be enjoying it, or everyone's now going to leave. But anyway, hit the like button, help beat the YouTube algorithm. So again, if you're new to the stream, a little habit or tradition we now have, and I'm sorry, Captain, I'm going to have to check it prior because you okay, that was a safe one, but I usually have to check this because he's known for putting naughty things on there that get me in trouble. So there's onlyguns.co.uk, and Mr. Captain Crack is always updates it with a little photo, and this week let's transition you onto display camera. So onlyguns.co.uk. Like, anyone from the UK shooting Discord, please put the link in below. Anyone that has the link, or I'll have to bludgeon my way into doing it myself, but anyone put the link to the Discord. It's a great sort of chat community. You'll get this joke instantly. So Daniela Smerald loves her chickens, absolutely loves her chickens, and there was a little joke today which I actually had put aside. This is actually the Discord. I'm in it right now, which is dangerous doing this live on stream, by the way. So we basically said this is Daniela's new, it's her range buggy, because she loves her chickens. She wants to take them everywhere that she goes, and yeah, that would be pretty cool. You know, rocking up to a range with your gun strapped to your chicken trolley. And I posted it, and for everyone, you know, she is called Daniela. I'm not just ribbing. Actually, Daniela, and yes, I am called English Gary on the Discord. Just don't ask. Just there's going to be a lot of weird things on the Discord. Just don't ask. So yes, this is very apt to the conversation that we're having today. Daniel, please do it. Please get them a little night vision set and and a vest. We haven't actually had a look on the Discord for a while. It's dangerous. The Virgin. Oh Jesus. Let's just say I seem to have special privileges on the Discord, and tend to get away with murder on there and push the mods to their wits' end. But that's what I'm here for, right? Keep everything interesting. But yeah, just a quick tour of the Discord. You've got all your different chat sort of areas here, so you can go into general shenanigans. Just be careful. Oh, you're talking about it. Michael Hetworth getting timed out by Rack and Load. Savage, no chill. But if you want to have an adult conversation about shooting most of the time, then head over to the general shooting. You've got rimfire section. You've even got like a garage section, news section, finance section, which is mainly just talking about Bitcoin, really. But yeah, someone chucked the link for that in the description. And then you can go and join it and all sorts and get up to all sorts of mischief in there. So yeah, so it's all good fun. Hey Callum, will BFS be opening the clay shoot there again? I believe so. I mean, outdoor sports are now allowed, or organised sports, and that was actually one of the agendas for tonight, to talk about the first shoot of the year that I managed to go to. Yeah, I believe they will be, but I don't know for sure. The best thing is to drop Bluefield Sports an email. If they are, I will hopefully go up there and have a bit of a shoot, because it's only just up the road from the office. But yeah, should be yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. There's no reason. It's during the summer. They tend to stop it, I think, around August in preparation for the game shoot. But yeah, drop them an email. It should be good. So a little bit of news for English shooting. After having a few offers over the years for websites, and basically websites always tend to get more and more complicated, and take a lot of management, and sites like Squarespace are absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, they don't like guns that much, but I sort of realized, well, if I ever had a Squarespace website for English shooting, I wouldn't be selling guns on there. I wouldn't be selling equipment or ammunition or anything like that. With Magload, we ended up getting kicked off, mainly because some of our parts had AR-15 in them, even though nothing Magload sells is restricted or controlled in any way. The example we use when we're talking to insurance companies or anything else is literally a 5-year-old could walk into any shop in any country and buy any product with Magloads, no problem whatsoever. And we recommend it. Again, it's what pays the bills. So I finally pulled my finger out, and English Shooting has a new website. And there's now a little bit of a joke about these caps, that I've had this for a while now, and a number of people have asked about where you can get them from and so on and so forth. Well, I needed a website. Well, I've fixed that now. So I give you EnglishShooting.org. Now I will caveat this, that literally I finished this I think yesterday, and the domain certificates haven't yet caught up, so it does flash up not secure. It doesn't tend to do this on mobile, but if you're on desktop, you will get that warning. Don't worry, I'm not a hacker. I'm not trying to steal your money. Just go through. So it's just a general website about what we do, and obviously links to the channel, links to all our social media, and you can go on there and have a look. And also, and it's not loading. This is great. Never do anything live, right? Let's try a refresh. It's probably because I'm trying to stream and show you this. And of course, there are now merch, and yes, you can now buy the English Shooting cap if you want to support the channel. Again, this isn't just some like, look, you know, take it to the bank and pay for my shooting. Everything gets put back into the channel. Every single penny that's made gets put back in the channel. There's also our partners. So again, I think I make it perfectly clear that I have various relationships with American Shooting Trips, Kentucky Firearms Club, Custom Fit Guards, and Magload. So yeah, you can go on. Let's have a look at the merch. There is also some Magload swag on there. The face, if you want to buy your own face sticker, as you can probably see over my shoulder when I flick back to me. The OG patch, I seriously only have a few of these, so it would be, I do need to reorder them, but I've got stock for now. You can buy the hat as well. It is a flex fit. Absolutely love the flex fit caps, and that's why I literally wear this all the time. And various other Magload swag as well, Magload caps. 3 Circles, again, a brilliant book if you want to get into competitive shooting, not just practical shooting. Obviously it is aimed more at the practical shooting, but just general sort of competitive shooting, then 3 Circles is an absolute must. And some more swag. POI, a big group on Facebook. You can get the patch from our site as well, and I am also in talks with a few other people as well to get the to get various other merch on there. So it should grow. It should become like a nice little shop. Videos. So I don't obviously have all of our videos here, but basically, if you want to find out how to get shooting in the UK, if you want to find out how you get your FAC and all that, I've put all of the basically start shooting videos here. So this is everything so far that you're going to need to know, from the first steps you're going to need to take, choosing your referees, what guns you're going to be buying, completing your GP form, completing the application form, and also your firearm interview. And also added on this, as I go through my own process of reapplying for my firearm certificate and my shotgun certificate, it will be, you know, buying your first gun, doing a variation, stuff like this. So I really want this to become like the golden go-to source of how you get a firearm certificate within the UK. And the gallery, just being completely honest, this is just the Instagram feed, but there's some nice pickies there, and obviously as stuff is added to the Instagram, you'll be able to see new pictures. But yeah, the main driver of this was actually a load of people just making it a joke that I'd sort of got this cap and I was never going to sell it, when you can now buy it as well with other swag and merch. So yeah, that's EnglishShooting.org. I'll be adding all the links to video descriptions for the future, so you can go and find it easily. But EnglishShooting.org, anything is appreciated, and it all helps run the channel. And like on that note, I'd like to give you gear update. I showed you the new RØDE wireless mics that were bought for the channel. So Arius or Mochaccino or Outdoor Technica or Arian, whatever name he wants to go by, has very kindly lent his cam link. So it's what I use to connect this camera to the Mac to be able to stream to you guys. And he let me borrow his on a long-term loan for a number of months. Well, ended up buying a new one. That's £100. So yeah, the YouTube money isn't as good as you think, because you've got to buy all this gear as well. So yeah, there we go. Just examples of how I reinvest into the channel to hopefully make things better for you. Thank you, David. Do you have a CFG discount code? Yes, this is something that I'm trying to figure out how to actually get. I actually need to speak to Richard, who runs Custom Fit Guards. There will be, I'm pretty sure he can generate a sort of an affiliate link. Daniel, don't laugh. So basically, if you click that link, the website should automatically recognize you've come through EnglishShooting. But so far, if you just tell them EnglishShooting, if you say that you've come from EnglishShooting, you get, I think it's a 10% discount. So I need to talk to him and sort of see what the crack is. There will be I think a new code, but just tell him, drop him an email and say, look, I'm coming from EnglishShooting, and he'll give you a 10%. I think it's 10%, might be 5, pretty sure it's 10. But yeah, yeah, you can get your discount. I'll just say extra special hats. Yes, ES stands for extra special. Just remember, the NCA has to remind us that owning legal guns is a crime. Yes, for those of you that don't know, the NCA, which is the equivalent of the FBI here, have been for quite a while a targeted, paid-for campaign on Facebook, which can be summated, and literally, I quote, possessing illegal firearms is a crime. That is what they are paying taxpayers' money to get out there to help reduce crime. Like I'm sure there are some criminals out there that are so stupid that they don't know it's illegal to have an illegal gun. But by definition, having an illegal firearm is it's by definition NCA. You know, we've all joked about it. So obviously they've come to the end of the year, they've had a bit of budget to spend, and they thought, how can we spunk this money up the wall? So any of you that don't know, well, certainly within the UK, I don't know what it's like internationally, but within the civil service, if you don't spend your budget, you lose your budget. So you get ridiculous expenditure. I mean, we had the billboard as well, which was it's an offence to offend, or being offensive is an offence, or something ridiculous. And it was utter horseshit, and the police force actually had to apologise in the end. So yeah, when it gets to the end of the tax year, which is April, the beginning of the tax year is April, so when it gets to like the end of March, you will start getting people do really stupid shit from various civil services, from the police to say the NCA to other organisations, and yes, the NCA just reminding us that possessing an illegal firearm is a crime. And also they've targeted the, if you're a shotgun certificate owner, or if you're a shotgun owner, make sure you lock your gun up, because they fall into criminals' hands. When it's been proven time and time again that statistically speaking, the MOD and the police lose more firearms, or relatively speaking, lose more firearms than legal gun owners here in the UK. So again, the spending budget when they should be spending it maybe on training or extra security. So yes. EnglishShooting, there is a reason why it's called a certificate and not a license, of course, because you can't license that something is of something that is a right. And yes, it is in a way, and I have used the expression before, it is a right to have a shotgun certificate, right? It is the police that have to provide a reason why you are unsuitable to have a shotgun certificate. So is that still a right? If the police can provide a reason of why you're not suitable to have the certificate, is that still a right? It's yes, at some point they had to call it a certificate and not a license because it's in the Bill of Rights. Again, please go out and buy a gun under the Bill of Rights and carry a gun under the Bill of Rights and see how long you stay a free man. Which is kind of apt, seeing as it's the free men that tend to do that. How was your first shoot? Very loud. So yes, I've got a little clip, Arius. I hope you don't mind me using your footage. So the KFC had their first shoot of the year, and and coincidentally, this was my first shoot of the year as well. And go and check out Mochaccino, or what's it under? It's under Arius. He's done a little video of it. I'm in it for all of, I think you see my hand at one point. So nice big shoot. First one, you know, it's a fairly basic shoot. This was a probational, so all of these people were trying to get their 3, nice bit of mag load there. Love it when that happens. So these are people trying to get their 3 probational shoots so that they become a full member, and also for people, you know, people like Ben Ducker there and John Jennings, who obviously they know what they're doing with a gun. There's actually Ben right there. You know, they're experienced shots, but they a nice bit of mag load as well. Thank you, Don. But it's good to break off the rust, right? So I managed to do a couple of stages, not as much shooting as I wanted. That's actually Paul from Magload there, doing his probational, and actually Connor's rig does look a bit big on him. So yeah, it was fantastic to get out there, put some lead down range. First time I got behind a gun all year. Obviously, with everything that's been going on, there's Ben rocking the KL12. That's Matt Liddy as well, another good friend of all the Magload guys. And nice bit of slow-mo there. Got to love a bit of slow-mo. And it was just a great day. Again, break off the rust. Nothing too intensive in terms of the... Oh, it's my range bag. I think the range bag gets more airtime than I do in this video. I don't know. Maybe Arish doesn't like me or something. Oh, he's here. He's here. Quick. I didn't say anything bad. So yeah, I hope Arish, you don't mind me using it. That's actually the Stoga that I use. Again, you'll be very familiar. It's very mag loaded up. That's Connor's sexy beast of a man. Showing us how it's done with some pump action. He's a good pumper, he is. And again, Ben, that is one hell of a gun. Yeah, that's enough of using other people's content on the stream. And I don't know if he's here, but I don't know if I should say who that is. He's very well known on the live streams, let's just say, but I'm not going to share his real name unless he wants to reveal himself. Single man, reveal yourself. Single lady, isn't it? I don't know. So yeah, with all the plug of Magload, there is some absolutely incredible news. This might be a bit of a snooze fest, but if you're into big machinery and high tech gear, then this will be right up your street. Actually, 2 bits of news for Magload, and any South Africans that might be watching, some big news for you guys as well. So anyone that follows Magload on Facebook, I highly recommend you do, please. Again, it helps. Go and give Magload a little like. I love you for it. But if you do follow it, you might have seen this. If not, well, I'm going to show you anyway, because we are ecstatic about this. You might have seen this post, and I thought I'd give a little bit more backstory and explanation to it. So for those of you that don't know, Magload makes various practical shooting accessories. Actually, let's bring that up. Magload. You would think I'd have it as a homepage, right? Oh no. Oh, it's struggling. No, it's come back up. There we go. So Magload makes various practical shooting gear, right? I'm sure most of you know this, but what most of you might not know is the majority of the stuff is actually 3D printed. And no, not so basically all of these bits, the plastic bits, these are all metal inserts that get put in afterwards. All of those plastic, that shot saver plastic, the ambi buttons are plastic, all 3D printed as well. We really do sort of pioneer, as John doing his thing again, really do like sort of pioneer and take things to the max in terms of our use of 3D printing. And no, it's not one of these little desktop hobbyist machines, although we have those for prototyping. This is the machine that our stuff is printed on. They've been printed on there for a number of years, and it has been a big goal of Connor's and sort of by association a big goal of mine to get one of these machines in Magload. It brings a Magload anal lube. It's called Maglube. We already do it, right? I'll show you. You know, you want some anal lube, I'll give you some anal lube. Let's go. Accessories. Is it in accessories? I should really know my own bloody website. Yeah, these are still live, by the way, if you want to buy them. Where is it? Come on. There we go. Mag lube. You want some anal lube? Use this. Caveat, it is not a sexual lubricant. So anyway, the majority of the stuff is produced. We've been using a third-party supplier for a while, although a lot of finishing touches and production is done in-house. The raw parts were made on this machine, and this is an EOS Formiga P100. It's a hefty bit of kit, as you can see, and we, very, very pleased to have reached the point where we can have our own. It is going to take a month or two to get it up and commissioned and running, but this means we can bring all production in-house. Everything of apart from the laser cutting, we have laser cut back plates for a lot of the loaders. That will still be done third party, because those machines are like £250,000 a year, and you need to be running them 24/7 to get the full money's worth. But this, it helps take Magload to the next level. So we'll be able to basically like build better stock, make sure that we don't go out of stock as often, because it takes 2 weeks between ordering with our third-party supplier and getting it in, and then we've obviously got to process the stuff, we've got to do post-processing, we've got to color it and all that. Having this in-house means that we can basically have any parts we need in our hands within 24 to 48 hours. And I'll show you the inside. So you saw the guys with it for scale. This is the build chamber here. There's a bit, it's actually missing from this picture, but there's a big heating element there. The lasers in the top of the machine, and it builds basically that build volume. So we can do what this also allows us to do, as well as reducing potential delays. It allows us to put to market a lot more products. It's horrendously expensive buying it in from a third party. And there's just some products that we wanted to release for a long time that are just not cost effective. They would literally cost more than what we could sell them for on Magload, and that's just not good business sense. But having our own machine, it allows us to make things like potentially stocks, like grips, forends, and all sorts. The possibilities are endless. And for those, again, that might be saying, oh, you can't use 3D printing to produce real parts, or you're wrong. So this is an Sls printer, and let's get a little bit nerdy, a little bit geeky. So it's selective laser sintering, and what it does is it will lay a bed of powder, a very flat, you have a scraper, very flat laser bed of powder. It's basically a big oven. It heats the powder up to like 250 degrees, 250 degrees, which is just about around its melting point. And the laser basically tips it over the melting point and creates the layer, as it were. And then a new fresh layer of powder puts over, and then the laser goes to town and creates the part. So just like an FDM, like a squirty hot plastic FDM printer, it builds it up layer by layer. But because of the technique, and because it's in this big cake of powder, you have no layer lines. The SLS 3D printed parts are as strong, if not in some cases stronger, than injection molded parts. So that's why we use it. There's a number of benefits. The downside is cost. It's a lot more expensive for larger volume parts than injection molding. But for being quick, so getting a product to market, you can't beat SLS. Having an injection molding tool made can take weeks. It's also horrendously expensive to have the tool made. If you're going to make 10,000s of something, it's cheaper injection molding. If you're going to make an initial run of 50 or 100, you want to 3D print them. It's just a lot more economical. And another benefit is we can make graduated changes to designs. So it's like the original Nexus. It's what Magload's known for most. The original Nexus, if you were to get a first batch original Nexus and put it next to the last batch of Nexus original Nexus made, there are actually some significant differences, and that's because Connors over time makes various changes. And again, once you have an injection molding tool made, it's very difficult to make changes to the design. With 3D printing, every batch could be different. It's not going to cost you any more, any less. So yeah, huge advantages to it, and another big bit of machinery. It's really the next stage for us, and there's going to be some big things coming over the next few months as we get the machine operational and up and running. And also on the note, some more good news with Magload is we have we've had international dealers for quite a while, but this is our first sort of proper wholesaler, and they're based in South Africa. So there's a big presence in practical shooting in South Africa. A lot of people out there say that they just can't get the gear. It's horrendously expensive for them to import. There was one customer where unfortunately, you know, he bought from the website and he almost paid as much for the order again in various customs and duties. So we're very excited to announce that we've taken on a partner. They're going to be holding, you know, they're not just a single shop, they're going to be a wholesaler. They're going to be holding good levels of stock and then getting that into shops out into South Africa. So if you're in that neck of the woods, what you want to go and drop a message to, and I would actually just, as a quick favor, for me guys, if you could go and drop this page a like, and at the same time drop Magload a like, that would be much appreciated as well. But go and check these guys out. So if you're if you're in South Africa, you want to go and look at Rocksteady Gear, and as you scroll down, you're going to see, you know, they're already posting about Magload. Their first big order is going to be on their way to them very shortly. This was their sort of sample order, and they do other stuff as well, but they are going to be the Magload sort of representatives out there in South Africa. Obviously, you know, at the moment, you know, we're fast growing and we're getting there, but we can't be across the world all of the time. So having people, like-minded people, again, we don't just sort of give this sort of relationship out to anyone, but they sort of came to us and sort of laid out a big plan, and we were like, this seems perfect. So anywhere in that neck of the woods, South Africa, you want to get in contact with those guys. So yeah, it's been a busy old week really. The new English Shooting website, we had the new machine delivered and finalising the first order for the new South African wholesalers. Yeah, it's been a busy boy, but all good, all moving things forward and growing businesses, growing the channel, and all that. Captain Crack, I've got a lot of things I wanted to 3D print, but I've only got an FDM printer, and they're just too weak. I wouldn't and would separate. I'd love to see how they would come out on a top end printer. Drop us a message. Even though it might take a little while to get that machine up and running, we may be able to fit it in with other stuff. We actually today placed more orders with our suppliers, because again the machine isn't commissioned yet. We need to get a specialist team down to do it. So we're still placing orders with our suppliers. We can just buy them for you on our account, sort something out, Captain Crack. But obviously when we have our own printer, that's going to be a lot cheaper and easier to do. But yeah, drop us an email, info@magload.co.uk, or even EnglishShooting@gmail.com, and we'll or drop me a message on the Discord what you want to get printed, and we'll see what we can do for you. And no, before anyone says, we don't have any plans at this point to print any sort of frames or lowers on it. We later down the line, I've said this before, once all of the rights, you know, we have the right licensing or the right authority to do so, it is something that both Connors and I have a very obvious interest in. We love 3D printing, we love firearms. Just we need the laws to align with our, you know, with our situation to be able to do that. But it, you know, that again is a goal of the business to look into potentially printing stuff like replacement or upgraded 1522 lowers or uppers, and we'll see how that goes in the future. But for any NCA agents watching this, we're not doing it at the moment. Don't come and raid me. Actually, sort of on that note, some big news coming out from the States. I haven't seen any update, but I did see that Biden is going after ghost guns, and a lot of people talking about the 80% lowers. So for those of you that don't know, an 80% lower is pretty much as close in the US and even in the UK, although hasn't been tested as much in the UK. But basically, if you have an 80% lower, it's like as close as you know, the lower can get before it's considered a firearm, right? And you know, with an 80%, there's a few bits you need to machine, and you know, a few features you need to add or remove, and then it will be a functional lower. I'm not going to go into the the ins and the depths of that, because YouTube will just kick me off. But anyway, 80% uppers or lowers exist, and they believe that's what they're going to go after. And the biggest comment that I've seen so far is like, okay, so they ban or heavily restrict 80% lowers. Will people just start making 79% lowers, or 70% lowers, or 50% lowers? Like, at what point does a raw block of aluminium become a gun? If you put 2 holes in it that could be used for the takedown pins, does that mean it's a firearm? And again, this is why there are just absolutely fundamental flaws with some with some gun laws, right? Like, there's some things you just can't legislate against. People are still going to do it. People are going to find ways around it. Or it's not going to actually stop the people you want to, or you're intending to stop. It's only just going to hurt or hinder law-abiding citizens. And I've talked before that I would actually quite like an 80% lower, not to do anything with, but as a paperweight, if it's legal, and I would need to absolutely double check this, if it's legal in the UK to have an 80% lower, I'd love one as a paperweight. I would love one as like a desk ornament, because it's just a little bit cheeky, isn't it? In some ways. And yeah, so Biden's going to go after that. Of course, it's going to have no effect on gun crime. Again, every time gun control is introduced, gun crime increases. Yet they still want to bring in more gun control, more gun laws. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Biden might have actually made his announcement or released what they plan on doing. But I haven't seen it yet. But I know there's definitely something coming out. Again, good luck with that, Biden. Let's see what the American people think of that. What is it, like 300 million guns that they know about and 100 million gun owners? Yeah, good luck. Again, great comparison. The war on drugs. There were 10 million daily drug users in the US, and they fully admitted that the war on drugs failed. And that was 10 million people. How do you think you're going to control 100 million people? And you don't even know about half the guns that are out there. It's just, you might as well just get taxpayers' money and set fire to it, because that's as useful as going after the Americans' right to bear arms, and that's more useful in some sense as going after the Americans' right to bear arms. I'm not against gun laws. I'm not against certification. I'm not against testing and training and making sure that people are proficient, right? Things that have proven to work, right? Bring in stuff that is proven to work and I'll support it. But all the time you keep on trying to bring in stuff that's going to do absolutely nothing, then you're not going to have the support of people, are you? And then also, talking about actually 80% lowers and also 3D printers, that cat's out the bag, guys. It's just a case of people, they're going to move away from aluminium 80% lowers. They're just going to start buying 3D printers. Anyway, what are you talking about? Is Magload a manufacturing RFD? No. So not at the moment. It is, obviously it's something that we've discussed and talked about at some point. I'm sure in the future it will. That's again one of the goals. At the end of the day, the main staple, the main core of the business is accessories, is belt-worn accessories and other upgraded components. So that's the main stable of the business. We just want to grow the business in that avenue at the moment. There is other stuff as well, like port work and modifications, and obviously being able to fit the guns. We also need obviously access to firearms to be able to test certain products. So there is a need in some sense, but no, manufacturing, having an RFD for manufacturing of controlled parts or guns is on the list, but it's not something that we're focusing on at the moment. And my phone is buzzing, and it is Discord. Okay, all right, it's Captain Crack. So I hope you don't mind. I'll check that after the stream. Most things you can't just legislate against or stop. Bad people do bad things regardless of ink on paper. Like possessing an illegal firearm is a crime, right? A lot of the safety given via the former is a predominantly just perceived, not fact. Yep, exactly. It seemed to be doing something. Oh, we've made a load of new gun laws. We're trying to do something. It's like, well, no, actually, you like education, training, so much more powerful than just legislating it. Gizerp, have you had your FAC application rejected? Nope. Drop the Discord link. Did someone drop it earlier? Someone please drop the Discord link. Where can I find it? I honestly don't know where I can get hold of it. Let's go have a little rummage. I'll try and drop it in the stream for you. No, I haven't had my application rejected. In terms of an update on that, there is no update. I tried telling, oh, Captain Cracks on it, thank you. I tried pulling the vocational and professional one, and they said, well, there's a few things we need to sort out first, so we're addressing that. As I said, my application isn't exactly the most straightforward application in the world. There's a number of things behind it that they need to check and sort out first. But yeah, it hasn't been rejected. The application is still in. I will be chasing it, with the restrictions and COVID obviously calming down. I will be chasing them for it, because at the end of the day, I do need it for my profession. It is hindering my businesses. It is hindering my own professional shooting sports progression. And the sort of the ridiculous sense of it is, for nearly 3 years I worked in a gun shop, and for a good nearly 12 months was a servant of that gun shop. It's like, yeah, I'm, so sorry, I can have, basically RFD levels of, privilege or powers, or in whichever way you want to look at it. But I can't have my own firearm certificate. It's like, if I'm really a danger to the public, like, why are you allowing me to be, to work in a gun shop? It doesn't seem to add up. And I do, unfortunately, I get the feeling that, they've obviously taken a dislike to me, and they are in ways making things as difficult as possible. But they need to be absolutely sure. I'm sure there are things in my past that you guys know the general story of it, that they need to just be 100% sure. And again, I do support the checks and balances that are in place in the UK. I do think it's a bit funny that despite going to these club shoots and shooting regularly and having guns in my hands regularly, if I was a danger to the public, I'd have had plenty of opportunity to do something dangerous, and yet I haven't. I think that says it all, really. Can you still get an SGC? No. So the SGC is with the FAC. It's a coterminous certificate that I'm going for. It's tied together. Yes, technically getting an SGC would be easier, but I have all the justification for an FAC as well. So it's just together. It's the same thing. Sam Davison, thank you very much. Your support is very much appreciated. That and thank you for reminding me. Did you see the Magload mention on the Gun Collective YouTube channel? It's a US channel. Yes, I did. We've actually reached out to John and offered him some gear. So if he wants to, I think he mentioned the quad loading rigs, the Nexus Pro, and we said, like, look, no obligation. Like, obviously, I'm sure he gets 1,000,001 people contacts him going, look, if we give you some stuff, will you give us some promotion? We were just like, look, we appreciate the mention of the PMAG extensions on their own. Like, we just want to say thank you. You seemed interested in our quad loading or our Nexus Pros. So if you want a rig, let us know. We'll send one out to you, and just as a show of appreciation. But yeah, it's a channel that I think I've actually appeared on before as well, because of the shutdown of English Shooting. So I have had some contact with John in the past. It's a channel that I do watch on occasion myself. He's one of the bigger ones out there. He's got 250,000 subscribers. So obviously, again, another big bit of news for Magload is getting that. We were also on the TFB, the Firearms. Yeah, it is the Firearms blog, right? Again, another one that I've been on with English Shooting, but yeah, it got picked up on TFB, and yeah, I guess John picked it up from there. and yeah, we're really appreciative of it. Again, we're still a relatively small company, so for these big names in the industry to be picking up on it, it's just absolutely incredible. It does make us smile, and we're very appreciated of it. Discord link has been put in there. Captain Crack has put that in there for you guys if you want to go and check it out. Jay Minshall, do you know anything about the Cactus LBP? Yes, I know a fair amount of it. So it's designed and made by a guy called Ron Flint, and Ron Flint actually runs the Phoenix practical range. So any really old and long-term sort of subscribers and viewers will remember that I actually started practical shooting at Phoenix. It's a range called Phoenix Shooting Club. I think it's Phoenix Shooting Club in Slimford, just outside Godalming or Guildford, whichever one you want to look at it, whichever way you want to look at it. And he's big into his guns. He's a Section 5 dealer as well. He goes regularly out to the States and is big into his handguns. I have to say that Glock has to be one of the longest guns, or it has to be a gun that's been the longest in development, because prior, bearing in mind I haven't had an FAC or an SGC for like 5 years, and obviously it's just complicated things at certain ranges, the way I had to set it, they had things set up, and not having an FAC or an SGC basically meant it's too hard, or it was too laborious basically to go through all the hoops to be able to shoot there still. As soon as I get my SGC or FAC back, I'll be shooting at Phoenix again. It's a great bunch of people, it's a great facility, but Ron was talking about it then while I was still a member, prior to me losing my certificates. So that's over 5 years ago, and it's sort of been released, but no one really knows if it has. And but anyway, there is a Glock LBP by Cactus Arms. Of course, there is also the Caliber Innovations Glock. I don't know if they have any more. I haven't shot the Cactus Arms. I have shot the Caliber Innovations, and there is actually a video on the channel about the Caliber Innovations one. But yeah, I know who's made the Cactus Arms one. It's Ron Flint. I know he's very knowledgeable about guns. I know it's been in development a hell of a long time. So, I'm pretty sure, given the amount of time it's been in development, it's going to be a pretty spot on Glock. I think everything that he's done with it is built from the ground up, whereas what Caliber does is actually uses a genuine Glock frame. So I think the Caliber Glock, if I can make any comparison between the two without having shot the Cactus Arms, the Caliber Innovations Glock is going to be the glockiest LBP Glock that you can get. There's my professional review right there. And you were on Field Sports channel. Yeah, people. Bye Doggo. Unless you've already left. Like, people keep saying I've been on Field Sports, and it's like, yeah, I'll be like, tell me where. Let me go for a little hunt. I hope it's in a good way. Let's have a look ski. 1 day ago. Is that like the full episode? Let's have a little skip through. I might be just like pissing in the dark here. Let me I'm gonna take a guess before like if this is like a recent thing. Let me guess it's gonna be about my comments about lead. Like 100%. Burning of the Moors. It's like, was it the most recent episode? I honestly don't know. But I have been on Field Sports before. I just don't know. Everyone seems to be saying that I was on. Nope. One of your videos was put forward to the hunting YouTube section of Field Sports last episode. Oh, they do that towards the back, don't they? Oh, I can see. Oh dear. What video was it? Because I'm not going to sit here and watch it now. I'll pause that. Let me guess. The comments are all like, "Why have you got that fucking idiot on there?" Yeah, it's what you do. For fuck's sake, why don't you lot check facts before posting? You don't want to be checking facts, David. We want to live wild. We want to live free. One of your yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll check that out. I've seen it. I've found it now. That's pretty cool. I'm still intrigued. What it? Screw it. I'm going to play it a little bit.
It covers the issues around the recent government ban on lead ammunition in England.
Yep. We've got that one in one. Is about the lead. 100%. I'll drop Field Sports a message and say thank you for that. I wonder who put that forward. Again, it's probably there. I'll check it after the stream. You guys probably don't know. Oh fuck it. Let's bring it up. So for those of you who don't know, there's a huge channel called Field Sports Channel. It's a big UK one. If it's more like the hunting and field sports side of stuff, hence the name Field Sports Channel, if you hadn't guessed. To be honest, I've been a long-term subscriber and viewer. When I was at uni, it was like the one thing I looked forward to, like literally the one thing I look forward to every week. I think it was every Wednesday. Which, yeah, of course, they're still doing it every Wednesday. I have to say I don't watch it as often as I do now, mainly due to lack of time. But when I first started watching them, they were like 50,000 subscribers, and now they're at 300,000. And they do this segment at the end. Let me mute the whole thing, actually. They do this segment at the end where people can send in various videos, and you can, have your video shown on their channel. And obviously, someone submitted mine on the whole lead cock up that is going on at the moment with Basque and the cartridge manufacturers. So yeah, just various different videos. So yeah, there's me looking very pouty. Maybe I should get a job at Landtac. Come on, we want to see the gorgeous face of English shooting. Let's just skip to it. So yeah, there's me like having a bit of a rant, having a bit of a, my usual, basically, and some ammunition. There we go. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So thanks, guys. I had absolutely no idea that was that had happened. So thanks Field Sports as well for putting that out there. We're making waves, guys. We're playing with the big boys, and you guys are just having your own conversation as usual. I've seen SRS mention you a few times. Yes, SRS has been on the channel a number of times. I've been on his a number of times, and we've done live streams together. Done live, of course, with Rack and Load as well. Sam doesn't do as many videos as he used to. I don't think he's done a video for a while. Actually, I know he's very busy with work. Was getting all sorts of big promotions and traveling more for work. But yeah, I've got a lot of time for Sam, a lot of support. And it's almost like the three amigos at one point with Sam, Neil, and I. We'd do regular live streams together, regular collabs. I've been on Neil's channel, Neil's been on my channel. We've both been on Sam's. Sam's been on both of ours. So yeah, ready for world domination always. Oh, I'm ready. Let's have a look. Was there anything else? Oh yes. So one big piece of news, and again, I'm failing to prepare is preparing to fail. There is some new there's some out in the wild Benelli speeds. Again, for anyone that don't know why this is such a hype, it's because basically no one has really made a properly out of the box, literally take it from the box and go into competition with practical shotgun. Like every single one has needed some sort of modification or tweaking. That's sort of where Magload comes in, and Connors with his port jobs. And Benelli announced the Benelli Speed, so there was the Benelli M2 Speed and the Benelli Nova Speed, and basically they seem to look like the most out of the box and ready competition. And there's more and more media out there. So there's a guy called Josh Kenny, who is like easily hands down the best shotgun shooter in the country, wins absolutely everything, beats all the open guys in standard, and was also the junior world champion at one point. I think he came second or third in the most recent world shoot, and that was not competing as a junior, that was the full sort of the full standard, like adult standard. And I did see on his profile he's been sent an M2 speed, so you can see that I mean, again, this is like, you know, he is a pro shooter, you would expect him to be half decent, but you can see there's from what I can see from that video, there is no modification to that gun. And look how like lightning fast loading that is, right? Again, Josh is a pretty good loader, but to get a gun out of the box and be able to do that shows a lot of promise. And there's also another guy who's a big fan of big fan of Magload, and we're a big fan of his. He put a post out, so watch this. This is the Nova speed, so the pump action version. Like, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts for a gun out of the box, just resting there and just flicks them straight in. You know, so we're getting more and more images and more footage of these guns coming out, and I absolutely can't wait to see them hit the market. And I think they're going to dominate. I really do think that these are going to be the absolute game changers. Like, it's going to be the one to go for. Yes, they're probably going to be pretty expensive. We're guesstimating around I think it was the £1,600-1,700 mark for the M2, and potentially, you know, £1,000 to £1,200 for the Nova Speed. But if you go and buy a Benelli M2 Field as a base gun, you can pick one up of those for like 1,100, 1,200 quid. You're talking 300 quid for a port work. Well, that gets you up to 1,500 quid. You'll need an extension tube. That's another 100 quid. So you're already at 1,600 quid with just the port cut and just the extension tube. Then you need enlarged buttons, enlarged charging handles, and other fine tunes and tweaks. And before you know it, you've sunk £1,800 in a gun without even trying, without even going particularly high end, let's just say. So if it comes out at like the £1,600 mark for a race ready gun, you know, Connors thinks from images that it still might need a little bit of material here and there, but until we've got the actual one in our hands, we won't know for sure. Cactus Arms use real Glock Gen 3 frames. I honestly didn't know that. I thought he was using a clone or having his own made. But yeah, no thanks. I should really reach out to Ron and get a video, you know, pop up there and do a video of it, because so many of you guys are asking about it. So I'll try and remember to drop a message and see what we can do on that one. A Nova Speed or a gaming PC? Nova Speed. I think I must have told this story before. Talking about gaming versus guns, that was a decision that led to that was a choice that led to the birth of English Shooting. So when for my last year of university, we moved in with my now fiance but girlfriend at the time. And she was working Monday to Friday, but we went up there, I think 2 or 3 weeks before before the term started for uni. And because she was at work all day, I literally had 2 or 3 weeks of doing knob all. Like, I was just absolutely bored out of my mind. Yeah, I suppose I could have maybe got a jump start on my coursework or maybe the lectures for the term ahead, but nah. And her dad had actually given me a busted up Xbox. Funny enough, as I can see it right now, I've still got it. Well, we're going to shoot it at some point. It had the red ring of death, and obviously doing electronics, I knew how to fix it, so I fixed it. I fixed the red ring of death and got this Xbox running. I went and got Forza Horizon, and I played it non-stop. Like, literally these 2 weeks were like every second I had spare, and I had a lot of spare seconds, I was playing this game. And then it died. Got the red ring of death again. The second repair didn't go so well, and basically never managed to repair it after that. And there was a CEX which is like it's an exchange for games, and like anyone in the UK will know what I'm talking about. But the CEX is like a game exchange or something like that in the US, and they had secondhand Xbox 360s for like £100, and I was like, if I buy this, and of course it would be a working one, and it should just sit there and work and would have a warranty. So, you know, if I buy this, I am literally going to play this game non-stop. And there was just something, whilst I enjoy a good game and you know, having a bit of procrastination and taking your mind off things, I just felt I wanted to do something more productive with my time. And I was like, I want to build something. I'd already got the English Shooting channel. That's why if you look on the stats, there's like a 2 or 3 year difference between when the channel was created to when the first video came up. And I was like, well, screw it. I'd got more into shooting. I'd learned a little bit more. I was like, why don't I do this English shooting thing? Like, why don't I start making videos and use my spare time, my procrastination time, to making videos? Sat at my desk, and again, if you're an old school follower, you'll remember there used to be like a beaten up. Actually, screw it. I'll get the videos up for a laugh. And I look very, very different, and my manner on camera is a lot different. And I obviously I'm pretty immune at this point to like hearing myself on audio or seeing myself on video. But these are the videos that make me cringe. Like, just because I'm concentrating so hard on what to say, or what not to say. Maybe I should have tried a bit harder on that one. So let's and the old intro as well. Oh, it's just cringe. A lot of these videos I want to remake. This one's about wearing eye protection, because I got like a round ricochet. There we go. That is old school English shooting right there. You got the old intro. What I was thinking, and yes, I have seemingly doubled in size over the years. I had a lot more hair. I was a lot thinner, and I didn't have a beard. But there's the lampshade in the background. This is literally the desk that I did my last final year dissertation on, final year project, and all my revision and all that. Yeah, that's where the channel started. One of the first videos. So if you want to laugh, go and watch some of the old ones. That's really not a flattering one, and that's enough of that. All of these videos at some point, is that one actually? Oh no, that's private. You can't. These old videos, these sort of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll just make a topic on this sort of videos. Sort of not much has changed really. I tend to, ones that get outdated basically, I tend to make private. But you know, there's like videos, you know, getting a firearm certificate in the UK. Yes, I've technically superseded that, so I might make that one private, but it's got nearly 50,000 views, so I'm a bit loath to remove that one. But we'll yeah, I will replace a lot of these in the future. But yeah, that's how the channel really started. It was this decision, instead of wasting my time, I know it's not a waste, you need to blow off steam, but instead of like spending all my time just on this game, I wanted to do something more productive with it. How different things could have been if I'd just bought that fucking Xbox. The boy has become a man. Yeah, I mean, how old would I have been? Like what, 22 back then? 21, 22, around there. So, you know, it's a good 8 years ago. Getting on to 8 years ago. Can we have a reaction stream to your first video? My first video, again, I'm not set up to like play audio or anything on this, but my certified first video, I'm not in, which is sort of funny, and I'll bring that up. It's still live. You can go and watch it. It's a 26-second video. Let's bring that up. You probably all mean like reacting to my first like talking head video, as I call them, but this is the first video that was ever on the channel, shooting a black powder revolver. I mean, this is literally the first time this footage is of me seeing a black powder revolver shot for the first time, and it blew my mind. This was like the first trip I'd ever done down to the range, I mean, this was posted 2014, and if I actually go to the channel, I think it was 2012 the channel was created. Let's have a look. Let's go about, yeah, so June 12th 2012, and this was so nearly 2 years between creating the channel and uploading the first video. You can get a good sense of what I watch: guns, poker, cars. It's a decent hobby, all of them. So yeah, the first commentary video, yeah, perhaps I'll do that at some point. I'll do a watching old videos, because I know I make mistakes, right? I know there's technically not correct information out there, but it's still better than nothing in my mind. You was looking good. What are you saying? Are you saying I don't look good now? I'll ban you. Is Kiddle being poor? Sorry. Yeah, it's £500 cheaper. Stop being poor. Maybe, David, I should get the Cactus Arms and the Caliber Innovation ones and test them side by side. Actually, you could arrange that. You should drop Ron a message and see if I lend you a Cactus Arm Glock, and I'll do a side by side comparison of them. Question, Callum: is it legal to lend muzzle loading revolvers if it's not okay for an LBP or a Section 1 shotgun? You can loan a muzzle loading revolver. So literally the footage that you were just seeing of the black powder, legally, legally there is nothing different to like one of those old black powder revolvers to like an Allen Westlake muzzle loading revolvers. They are legally the same gun. So you can share muzzle loading revolvers under a club, and that exact gun, again in that footage, was do I still have it up? Yeah, so let's bring that back up. This gun was a club gun. It was on the club certificate, and who you're seeing shooting, these are all club members, right? So it's not their guns, so you can shoot it. Perfectly legal, or at least I hope it's legal, because now I'm showing you my old university club breaking the law. But anyway, and this range as well, here's a bit of backstory in history. This can I show it? I don't know if it's still a range, actually. So yeah, that range where you were seeing the black powder pistol, that is actually below the Thames. Part of the reason as a club we moved out of there is because it's below the Thames. Yeah, you can probably guess it's it gets damp, right? It gets damp and wet and musky and all that. They've done a lot of renovation there, but they actually built a new range by London Bridge, which was built using government. It was not government. It was using lottery money. It was around the sort of 2012 legacy and all that. So the Olympics. No, please no. Please don't come round for a beer. I've only got enough for me. Yeah, so it was around the 2012 Olympics, about leaving a legacy, and shooting actually got a big pot of money. They built a whole new range, and the so it was Imperial College Rifle and Pistol Club, and we ended up moving from, it was the Blackfriars, so it's just down the road from Blackfriars Station. There's actually a huge walkway, and it's off of that walkway. It's very sort of James Bond, like how you got into the range, and that's for a reason, which is probably why they don't want it being shown on online. But very cool how you got into it, and we ended up then moving over to London Bridge, and it was a far newer, far better facility, and this range was actually above the water. It was just over the water. You could open a hatch in the range and look down onto the water. So absolutely brilliant. But yeah, that's sort of the roots. That range and that black powder pistol video. That's where I started shooting. That's where I fell in love with the sport. I had a love for shooting, as I've talked about in another video about my granddad. That's where the real spark happened, and I started shooting air guns. But the first live fire gun was shot in that range. So it's a little bit of like, history of how I got into the sport, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that club, because again, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't that sort of fateful visit. So there we go. Was it the one under the BP building, 3 floors underground? No, it was under the road. It was actually under the flyover by the river. But yeah, it used to flood, which was great. Where am I from? I'm actually from Portsmouth. Born and mostly bred in Portsmouth. So born in Portsmouth, lived in Fareham for a while. Went off to Fairham's a little town by Portsmouth. Lived in a place called Morcham Bishop for a lot of my early childhood. Then moved to Salisbury for the rest. So I was probably, I think, between like 2 and 6. I was in Devon. Between 6 and 10 or 9, I was in Salisbury. And then it was year 6, so I think it would be at the age of 10 or 11, moved back to Fareham, and then like really grew up here. I haven't fully grown up anyway. So yeah, I'm sort of a Fareham / Portsmouth lad. But yeah, I tend to have, well, it was a lot worse a number of years ago. I had a very mixed accent. I would have sort of a Portsmouth come Devon / Salisbury. So there's not really an accent in Salisbury, but say a Wiltshire accent in a way. So it was this Devonshire, Wiltshire, Hampshire accent. And I just like words, I would say a word like 3 different ways during saying the word. And being dyslexic as well just doesn't help. Anyway. Salisbury Plains is awesome off-roading. I actually used to drive through, so for a while lived in Salisbury, went to a school in Devizes called The Mill, and used to drive through Salisbury Plain past the Stonehenge every single day. So yeah, we used to quite often on my way to school see tanks and all sorts of exercises going on. It was great. Darren, I'm not going to make an own. I think FACs are a good idea, but all guns, bar machine guns, should be allowed. I'm in Northern Ireland and I can get more than most, as the laws here allow quite a bit. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think handguns and full bore semi-automatic rifles should be allowed on an FAC. And you guys all know that I believe in our checks and balances here. First live fire when I was 14 in a gun range in Dubai, shot a 2.2 and a P226. Nice. So I would have been, I think I was 20. I think I was 20 when I shot my first live fire gun. So I was a late starter. Just trying to catch up. I have 6 farms to shoot. You just need to get out and keep asking to be prepared for lots of no's though. Yeah, I mean that really is the best way to get permission, is just go and speak to a load of people. Interesting how Imperial College is the only London university with its own shooting club, right? No, I think King's and what is it? What's that? It's like, no, I can't remember. It's like LIC. No, ICL. I can't remember what the other one. It was like the biggest rival. There was King's College. Or Kings, and then another one. I think there were 2 clubs. They all used the same range, so they just used it on different nights to Imperial. But yeah, a lot of the London universities have shooting clubs, because it's a lot of the London universities tend to be quite old and quite historic and have a lot of heritage. And fun fact, the shooting club at Imperial was the oldest club in the union. So within the union, the structure of, say, the clubs and sports teams and all that, the union is what was responsible for all the teams and the clubs. And basically any club, be that the football club, the poker club, the shooting club, were all clubs of the union. And the shooting club was the oldest club. And they actually got a disproportionate amount of money per member than any other club. Like the amount of money they got from the union was huge per person compared to anyone else. I think they managed to convince that it was a very expensive sport and that they needed lots of money, which is sort of true and not true, but yeah, they never had a problem with funds. It was brilliant. There was actually a discussion at one point of buying a club Land Rover to go back and forth to Bisley on and buy ammunition and stuff like that. And then they sort of realised, where the fuck are you going to park it in London, and all that. So yeah, it was the oldest club. The university was very supportive of it. There was never really an anti-gun feel. We could go to the union with rifle slips and all sorts. Obviously we'd try and lock them away, but we'd meet there with all the rifle slips and we're never told to move on. They were very understanding about it, and there was a lot of history behind it. People, UCL, that's it. Yeah, sorry. University College London. And I think Imperial, I should really know this. I think Imperial used to be part of UCL, and they broke off in, I think it was the early 2000s, and became their own university. I think maybe because they were doing slightly better than UCL, so they wanted their own recognition. To be fair, I'm Middle Eastern primarily, so my military service had me hand AKM and G3. Awesome. But yeah, anyone Rich Weston, the Palace of Winchester used to have a pistol range. I believe under the Houses of Commons there is still a rifle range. There is an MP's range of some description. Just dumping a mag doesn't light my candle, but I suppose if you want them, every now and then you need a mag dump. Makes life worth living. Let me just check. Have I covered everything? I was going to talk about fox population tonight. I'll probably actually save that for a full video. Not that I'm a fox hunter extraordinaire. I've never actually shot a fox myself, but I'm probably going to turn that into an extra video. But it's been a pretty good stream. Callum, if you're going to go to Prague, let me ride shotgun. Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on. It is the Shooting Travel Club on Facebook. They do trips to Prague, and keep an eye on Kentucky Firearms Club and American Shooting Trips. There are trips that are run to Prague regularly. So the woke MP shut it down. Oh, for fuck's sake! So were students of the other London unis without their own clubs allowed to join the others? No. So yeah, before I go, I'll just explain that before anyone else leaves. Subscribe. So basically the range that we use, so first Blackfriars and now the London Bridge range, it was run/owned by, I think, two club, which was the Marylebone Rifle Pistol Club and the Stock Exchange Rifle Pistol Club. But because they weren't able to fill the range every single day, to make money and to basically keep the range upheld, they would rent mornings or evenings to other clubs. So Kings and UCL and all that, they would have their own shooting club, and they would rent the range for that evening or for that morning or whatever, for that time period, to fulfill their members. We just happen to have most sports happen on a Wednesday. Most lectures will stop early on a Wednesday, or certainly did while I was at university, to allow their stop. Lectures at Imperial used to stop. You wouldn't have a lecture past 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, and that was to allow the sports teams to travel wherever they needed to for their sports. So we were very lucky in having the Wednesday slot. So I think it was pretty much from 1 o'clock on to 6. We were in the range and would usually go to the pub afterwards. And I think Kings or UCL had a different night, which was a shame for them because they wanted to do Wednesday as well, but we got there first. And they would just rent the same range just on a different night, basically. I think London School of Economics have their own club. Yeah, I think a couple of unis in London actually have their own range. There is a bit of a myth it's a bit of a weird story. So obviously we're Imperial based, and funnily enough, Imperial has been very heavily involved with the whole COVID vaccine and COVID thing. They really do make some world-class developments. It was part of my reasoning of wanting to go there, especially for engineering. It's because of Imperial we have microwaves.
And I don't necessarily mean microwave ovens. I mean just microwaves in general, or God, what are they called? Basically microwave generators. Begins with a G. Can't remember it. Should really know that. It's a long time ago. I actually did a specific microwave module. But yeah, microwaves are used in computers. They're used in phone, telecommunications, radar, satellites, all sorts of stuff. Not just your cooker at home. Yeah, so it was because of Imperial that we have like microwaves and radar, big innovations. But because of its proximity to, say, the Houses of Parliament, there were always rumours that there were secret tunnels that linked Imperial and the Houses of Commons, and it was so that the likes of Churchill could get to the universities during wartime, to be able to liaise with all the scientists and all the engineers on the developments and the new things. And there's this story of there's this sports facility that was built called Ethos, and when they were scouting it out, there's a halls of residence right nearby, and the club had been told that there was still some basement space. So underneath the club, they were underneath this new building that had built. They were trying to get an underground range put in it. They decided to put a swimming pool, which I think was utterly boring, but they lost the argument of trying to put a shooting range there. But they were told that there was the same space underneath the halls of residence next door. And I don't know if this is true or not, but the guy that told me this wasn't a bullshitter. He had no reason to lie or exaggerate. And he said him and another guy ended up getting permission from the halls to go and have a look at this space to see if it would be suitable for putting a range next door, which would have been awesome because it was right next to the university, right next to the sports centre. It would have been perfect. And he said they ended up exploring they found this underground basement with various passages going to it. And what he says is that they ended up bumping in to two men with SA-80s and red berets. Now, I don't know if that's true, if it's factual. It's not completely unbelievable, because these secret tunnels and these linkages all around London it has been confirmed. They are there. They do exist, and there's all sorts of tube networks and old like networks joining them. So I don't know whether it's just a bit of a club myth. But this guy, he was like, no, I came face to face with this guy, and it was like, what the fuck are you doing down here? And it's like, well, we're looking to put a range from the club. He's like, go and never come back. So yeah, anyway, I don't know if it's real, but that's what he told me. Martin Straw, better late than never. Good evening, troops. Probably on that note, sorry Martin, I am just about to head off. So yeah, it's been an interesting one. Hope oh yeah, that was one of the other topics I was going to talk about. I'll probably make it into another video. There are shortages at the moment. We are now starting to see ammo and gun shortages in shops. So I'm not going to say go out and panic buy, but if you can get to your local shop, if you can go there and click and collect, make sure you've got a good supply of ammunition to, because the worst thing, like the absolute worst thing, is when all the ranges open up and all the clubs open up and you've got no ammunition. That would just be an absolute crying shame. But anyway, I am going to leave it there. It's been, I think, a pretty awesome stream. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it, found it interesting as usual. Do this if you're new to it. Again, welcome. Before you all you guys go, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We do this every week, 7:30. We've got the usual crowd as well on a Thursday. So yeah, we'll be doing a live stream next week, video out over the weekend. I'm going to try and get 2 videos out this week. Probably shortages and increasing in fox population, as I didn't cover them this evenings, and I think they are sort of standalone topics. But panic buy, don't be poor. I'll catch up tomorrow, mate. PS, do you ever wash that gilet? I've only had this thing like 3 weeks, all right? And no, I don't. I'm wearing it in. They're like a pair of jeans, all right? And it's clean. But there we go, guys. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Really enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. If I don't speak to you or see you beforehand, I hope you all go out and shoot and And yeah, we'll have videos in the weeks, and if you don't watch the videos, then I guess I will see you next Thursday. But there we go, guys. As always, hope to see you soon.